All right, we're going to explore some more autistic history today and the Autism Wars. We are at part 109 of a series. All right, I left off with the second great Autism Watershed article published by Bernard Rimland from Autism Research Institute back in 1994. This article is stating a lot of the era of what parents were doing and experimenting with at home with their autistic children to recover them from autism. So I'm going to pick back up where I left off in the previous video. All right, we're under biological interventions past the point of the list of parent-initiated experiments down to what is the proper dosage range for these substances. I don't know. This is Rimland's writing, but I am trying to find out. If you have tried or are trying any of the above substances or any other naturally occurring non-drug nutrients, herbs, or quasi-nutrients on an autistic child or adult, please write me with information on the size of the person, dosages used, duration of trial, time before effects were seen, and nature of the effects seen, both positive and negative, especially if any negative effects are seen. When I have enough information to make and inform suggestions, I will provide it to our readers. Now I know why in the parent community there is such a strong drive for homegrown therapy and treatments that are astounding. This is the father of modern autism research, telling parents to experiment on their autistic children and especially report if you see any negative side effects. What in the actual fuck? Oh my Lord. All right. He states here, we're continuing on, what accounts for the sudden upsurge in parent-initiated trials of nutrients? There are several factors. 1, the excellent results often reported for B6, magnesium, and DMG with no significant adverse effects. 2, the long series of failures of highly touted wonder drugs for autism and the high frequency of toxic side effects. I have never heard of a drug for autism, specifically for autism, because it doesn't exist. We have comorbidities. Maybe he's speaking to one of those wonder drugs for one of the comorbidities. I don't know. Anyhow, the long series of failures of highly touted wonder drugs for autism and the high frequency of toxic side effects. General disillusionment with orthodox medicine. Last year, 1 second. All right. 3, general disillusionment with orthodox medicine. It says in parentheses here, last year, the New England Journal of Medicine reported with some alarm and dismay that 33% of Americans had turned to practitioners offering alternative health care methods. Well, I'll just state in 2009, it was stated that 3/4 of autistic children that were known had experienced alternative healthcare options to cure or recover the autism, and it's just astounding to me. This is So dangerous. Oh, let me see. Let me just get back to this. Fear. Well, justified. Unfortunately, that if the FDA is not soon reined in by Congress, the public will no longer be free to buy the nutritional supplements and other non-drug substances that they are now trying out on their autistic offspring. You mean the government might want to regulate what you're putting in your child? Or putting in your child, trying to strip out the autisms? Oh my gosh, this is a horrible, horrible, dark history here. And what happens to these kids, unbelievable. Not all of them, but a lot of kids have suffered under this over the years, because all natural seems to be correlated with doesn't harm you, and it very much can. But all right, this next section is titled Parental Disempowerment. Lest we get too euphoric about parental muscle flexing, let me mention an unfortunate counter trend. Parents' rights to make decisions for their handicapped children are increasingly being usurped. Recently, many parents have begun to report they have been ignored, bypassed, and even blatantly overruled. In some cases, by school officials, social workers, and other representatives of various bureaucracies. These people will tell you that your child's philosophy happens to match theirs, but not yours. With regard to sexual freedom, drug use, where to reside, and so forth, this deplorable situation is one outcome of the rise of advo-zealotry that I decried in a recent ARRI editorial, ARRI 74. Pretend that the handicap is not real. Assume it out of existence, and it will somehow disappear. The advo-zealots believe. My advice to parents confronted with this problem is, don't buy it. Tell officials under no certain terms that you, not they, are responsible for your child, and you do not join them in their fantasy that your child is not truly handicapped. I sometimes get lost in Rimland's writing. They seem to bounce around a bit. But I guess he's responding to some of the Autism Wars at the time in that era. I don't exactly know the context here, but it makes so much more sense now. Generation Rescue, Jenny McCarthy, all natural recovery of autistics. Oh. You know, I know things, but then to just see it so open. They didn't hide this back then, not like how they hide it now. It's all so much of the same people going back 40 years. I mean, some of the names that we'll start mentioning and a little bit forward in history here are still names that are prominent in the autism research fields and healthcare sections for autistics today. But this is a lot to process, and yeah, no wonder we were considered okay to be experimented on as a parental right. Alright, this wraps up this video. I'm just gonna process this one. I'm going to process this one for a while. My brain is just skipping pretty hard. Phew. Man, when history connects, it makes so much more sense now why parents were so empowered to use their children as experiments. Like they were the researchers and scientists. They were being told to do that by the father of modern autism research. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.